Welcome everybody. Today we are going to be looking at setting up classroom technology for simultaneous instruction. So in this presentation, we're going to go through some suggestions we have and look at some different things. We will be stopping every so often to answer the questions from the form. So I'll just give a few seconds for people to get onto the video here and we'll get started. So we'll get started going through the presentation now. We hope to be able to answer your questions. If we don't have an answer right now, we will note those down in the form and get back to you with a reply. So our agenda for today, we're going to be looking at student devices that are going to be available for in the class instruction, as well as what the students at home have. The teacher devices that are in the classrooms, some basic classroom setup suggestions, how to have your Zoom set up, and then again, we will go through some questions. So in this presentation, there is a link right on this page. If you click on that link, it takes you to our RCSD Learns page, and this is where you were signing up to get into this video. So you can see all the different sessions are down here on YouTube. And then this is where you also have the question link. So you want to go in and click on the question link, which will open a Google form and you can ask your questions. We are down in this session. So you should have an all-in-one touchscreen desktop and a laptop with an HD TV in your classroom. All the schools are listed here that have this type of setup. And if you want the actual slide deck, you can also click this link, which will give you the presentation that I'm going to be going through today. At the end, we will have a survey for the attendance. So on the next slide, this is about the question and answer form. The link is here on the presentation slide. But again, you can go through that RCSD Learns page and there is a link right there to the question form. So you want to click here where it has the live question link. And this is where you'll access the video.
Brian, really quickly, we just got to make sure there's 3 question links depending on what session you're going to. So be careful that you are in the correct school. So again, if you could scroll down, Brian.
You want to scroll down to the session that make sure it's the one that says all-in-one touchscreen desktop and laptop with HD TV. Use this question link.
Yeah.
So first thing we're going to discuss here are student devices. So we've broken this up by grade bands. K through 2nd grade students will have an iPad for each student. The distribution of these iPads will be through building administration. So you should have enough iPads in your classrooms in K through 2 that each student sitting face to face with you will be able to have a device. In grades 3 through 5, a Chrome device will be supplied for each student. So this might be a Chromebox or a Chromebook. So each student will have access to this. It's a Chromebook. You'll have enough in your room for every student face to face to also be able to get on technology. So make sure that you have these charged and ready for students, and they will stay in your classrooms. When we get opened up for grades 6 through 12, these students will bring Chromebooks to school with them each day. We are going to be providing backpacks for students grades 6 through 8. They've been ordered. Your 9 through 12 students have already been given these backpacks and have been carrying devices in the previous year before we shut down. So building distribution of these is what will take place. They're being shipped to your schools, and then you will distribute them at the school to the classrooms appropriately. There was an email that went out that discusses all this stuff and what devices you'll have in those classrooms also. Let me jump down. So we're specifically talking just about the classrooms that have the all-in-ones connected to an HD TV. If you do not have this set up in the building you are in, you want to join the session that has that. So I can go back and just show that again. Oh. If you're on this page in RCSD Learns, if for some reason you're not in the right session, just make sure you scroll down through here, look for what type of devices you have in your classroom. If you only have a laptop with a smart board, you want to be going into this presentation. All right, we're specifically talking about just having an all-in-one and a laptop with your HD TV. So we just have a few photos here. A little bit of what's supplied in your classroom. Every teacher has a teacher laptop. Your laptop has a webcam, a microphone, audio, and can be connected to the display. So even though you have an all-in-one hooked up to your HD TV, you can hook your laptop up to display on that TV also. The desktop all-in-ones also have a webcam, microphone, audio, and they are interactive and are connected to the display for you. So this is where you'll be writing on the display to have it displayed on the TV to the students, and not only on the HD TV, but you'll be able to share that through Zoom for your remote students. So just here's an image of the TV. This is what we're referring to when we say all-in-one. It's mounted on the arm there, and you can write right on the screen. It is a touch panel. So next we have a little video we're going to take a look at. And this is just going through some of the setup that we have with those all-in-one computers and the HD TVs.
Hi everyone, today we're going to show you how to use Zoom and teach simultaneously when you have an all-in-one computer with a TV, and then you could also use your laptop as another screen or device. All right, so first make sure we turn on our all-in-one, which is right over here on the side, and then at the same time we probably want to turn the TV on the side as well. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll get everything booted. If this is the first time you're turning this on, after coming back, so it might take a little bit to just get rebooted, maybe have updates, so just give it a minute or two or 10. Okay, so right over here, you now want to log in, and you can just move your fingers, and then you can type. You can also use the keyboard if you want, so make sure you're logged in. Now I have it tilted because with the all-in-ones, remember, you could write on the screen or on the computer itself, so I like it tilted that way. What you want to do is you want to make sure that your screens are the same, right? So you're going to do the Windows right here on the keyboard. You're going to do the Windows P to look at your displays, and then you'll see that there's multiple displays that you can do. In this scenario, when you have an all-in-one computer and a TV, the best way is to just duplicate. So that means that you're going to have anything that you do right here, you're going to see on the TV as well. I am going to get on Zoom to see my students. I have a student, so I'm going to admit them. And now I have my Zoom. I can see my now in terms of writing on the board as well as sharing your screen. So one of the things you can do, I'm going to show you with Smart Notebook first. I'm going to open up Smart Notebook. I can share the Smart Notebook with my students. So I'm going to click Share Screen. And I could either share the entire screen, that means that my students in Zoom will see everything on the screen, or I can share just the Smart Notebook, and that's what I'm going to choose here, and I'm going to click Share. So now you can see anything that I'm sharing is going to have a green outline. I can make this a little bit bigger, and I could go ahead and start writing on it. I could also use my pen, my finger here, because this is an all-in-one. And then let's see what the students see. Also a way that you could split your screen to make it that you can see the students on one side and your what you're writing or your notes on the other side. To do that, you want to make this, minimize this, and then move it over to the left, and you'll see like this kind of outline shows up. And what this does is make it half screen. And then you can do the same thing with maybe another item that you're looking at, or maybe you want to see all your students right over here. Still use your laptop to put the students and see all the students as well as the chat. Because right now it's a little bit hard to kind of talk to the students in Zoom, have a conversation with students in class, do the notes, and still look at the chat and see what's happening with the students. So one of the things you can do here is minimize this so that maybe the students in class don't get distracted with the students in Zoom. But then you can come over here on the laptop and get on Zoom here as well. You can log into Zoom on multiple devices through Rock Connect. Like my laptop is not hooked up to the all-in-one or the TV, it's just on its own. And so what I'll do here is also go to RCSD Bookmarks, go to Rock Connect, and I'm gonna go to Zoom as well. So I can log into Zoom in multiple accounts. So when you're launching the meeting, you're gonna open Zoom meetings. Now here, this is important. In order to not get any feedback from your volume, don't join with your computer audio. Don't join with audio at all, okay? And so that way here, you'll be able to see all the students, and you can actually move this, the shared, and you could see, you know, everything here. You can see all the students, some of the students, all the students. And you can do it side by side gallery. And you could even move this over so you can see the students even bigger. But here I can see all my students. I can check my chat, okay? And it's not showing up on the all-in-one or the TV. So here I'm working on my presentation with my students in class and at home. And then on my laptop, I can see all my students and I can see the chat. So that would be an option for you if you have this set up.
So just a couple notes as we were watching that. When you are using a touch panel monitor, so you just have a TV, you're going to be talking to maybe some colleagues in other buildings who are extending their screen. We do not want to extend our screen with the touch panel and the TV because you want to be able to show what you're writing on. and you're writing on the monitor all in one. So depending on schools, that is a little different. I just wanted to make note there that some other buildings will be extending. We do not suggest that when you have the HDTV, if you want to be able to display what you are going to be writing onto maybe a smart notebook file. Another thing is if we want to show the classroom to the students that are at home on Zoom, that is where you can use that webcam that's on your laptop or on the all-in-one monitor. So we do have those options to be able to share what's going on in class with our at-home students.
Hi, everyone.
So just a few things about the TVs and stuff we put on a page here for the classroom setup. Most classrooms, you do have a Triumph TV, and we just wanted to show that on the side of the TV are where you have your control buttons. All right, you can do the input selection there and all the other things to move things left or up and down on your volume and stuff like that. Most classrooms will have that control box you see in that bottom corner. And this is where you would hook up your laptop if you wanted to display that. So it's default to HDMI 2, which is that desktop all-in-one. You can plug in your laptop, a document camera, a student Chromebook if you wanted to display their work into the HDMI 1 port. And we just have an example here of the TV. This is where it is in split screen. So you can see the worksheet over here, and then the Zoom class on this side of the screen. And again, those options are completely up to you as the teacher if you want to use a split screen, or if you want to just have the Zoom on the second device, which is your laptop, and then you can have the full screen of the TV displaying whatever you're working on with the class. We also put a little link in here about some computer settings. I'm just going to open that document. And it's just a Google Doc to show you some of the things of how to display. If you want duplicate, you want to make sure you go through that Windows P process. How to change the power settings so you can make sure your TV or your laptop and computer don't go to sleep on you while you're in class. All that information is just on that Google Doc. And then just an example here of where those webcams are and an example of the split screen again. You can see this is a duplicate screen, shows exactly the same on the all-in-one as it's on the TV. And your webcams are on the top of those monitors. So some monitors you may have to push to bring the camera up like you see here on the left. Others, the camera will just be on the top of the monitor. You don't have to push anything to activate it. So you'll want to go in and look at your all-in-one monitor to see which type you have. So I'm going to just take a break there. Yelena, are there any questions? And we can go all the way back to the student devices if we need to, or on classroom setup that we can go through at this time.
Yeah, so let's start with student devices. There's a couple of questions. So the first question is, and I know this is something that we've dealt with a lot in 9th through 12th grade last year. What happens when, and this might not be a question that we can answer either, but what happens when a student does not bring their Chromebooks to school, which happens frequently, as someone at Monroe commented?
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, do you want to answer it, or do you want me to kind of give a quick answer?
Well, I was going to say right now, I don't believe we have any extra devices at schools. Were they all collected to be handed out?
Yeah, so I definitely would. My big thing is I would talk to the school administrators to figure out what the plan is. I know previously we've had like maybe a library card. So if a student needed a loaner for that, you know, but it was also really dependent on each school and the structures that they had in place. So I would say the first thing that you would do is have conversations with your administrators about what they could provide and the support that they can give. Because yes, we are, you know, every one of those Chromebooks right now is being utilized by all our students. Another question in terms of Chromebooks. If I teach a computer lab with students, will students still be allowed to bring their Chromebooks? I teach grade 7 and 8. We already have a routine set up. It will be safer and more familiar.
So 7 and 8 students will be bringing their Chromebooks to school with them, and they can bring them from class to class while in school also.
All right, and then a couple of questions about hardware. So the question is, I just want to connect my laptop to the big screen instead of using the all-in-one. Can you show us how to connect the laptop to the white screen? And maybe there, Brian, if you go to the other one with the box and you can show. Now, I will say, just be mindful, there's no problem of connecting your laptop to the TV. However, you have to know that if you want to write on the screen, the only way to do that is if you're using the all-in-one, unless you're using your mouse like you might have been doing at home when you're using your laptop.
So yeah, if you just want to have your laptop connected, in this little control box, there'll be an empty HDMI slot, which will be HDMI 1. That's where you can connect your laptop. And then you'll want to go to the TV and change the input, which you'll have a button on the side to change your input. So make sure it goes to HDMI 1, which is where you'll have your laptop hooked up, and then you'll be able to display your laptop. If you want to switch back to the all-in-one, you'll have to go back up and push that input button again to make it switch over to HDMI 2.
And that is the same thing too if you have a document camera. I know some teachers have those, and that would be the same kind of idea, is you're hooking it up to a different input, and you just have to make sure you change that input.
And if you have your remote, you can do it through the remote. We just wanted to be able to show the side panel in case people weren't able to find the remotes to their television. So yeah, any external device you want to hook up, the camera or the laptop, plug it into HDMI 1 on the control box here, and then just change the input selection on the TV.
So someone asked a question about subs, what happens with subs because they don't have laptop, and I could answer this. This is what's really nice about this setup for most classrooms, for all of you, is you don't need a laptop. So as you saw the first video, you have a TV and you have the all-in-one. So the substitutes will be able to log into the all-in-one with their credentials and access whatever the information they were given to run the lesson or the day for that specific day. So they don't necessarily need a laptop. It's nice to have that laptop as another device, right? It never hurts to have yet another a screen to use, but you do have two screens in almost every classroom in these buildings, because you have the TV and you have the all-in-one. And let me see if there's some questions about webcams, and we hear you, and we will talk about it in the presentation. So I don't want to go over them yet until we get to that. And there's some questions with Zoom, which we'll go over in a bit too. There was one more, let me see. So will all teachers have this hardware, including special ed teachers who may only directly instruct a resource room of 5 students in their assigned room? So unfortunately, you will have to go into the school and into the classroom to see what you have. Majority of the classrooms do have this setup. We can't say for sure if yours will. So definitely reach out to your administrator to double check what's in your room. But majority of the classrooms will have this setup. And if you don't, definitely reach out. And again, Brian will show in a little bit how to get a hold of us so we could help you out, figure out the best setup for your specific room. And I think that's good for now with questions.
So next we're going to take a look at using Zoom, and specifically here we want to talk about the Zoom desktop client. If you have not done so already, we want to suggest you download the Zoom desktop client on your laptop and the desktop computer. So if you have an all-in-one, you want to go in there and make sure you download the Zoom desktop client on the all-in-one. We want to make sure you also check for updates. You want to keep that updated as you're using it. So some things here, you're able to see the Zoom gallery view while sharing your screen. You will be logged into your correct Zoom account when you click a Zoom link. So if you have that desktop client downloaded, when you just click a link, it will have you signed into your RCSD K-12 account, so you won't have to go through Rock Connect first. That's important when you're joining meetings, if it is going to show you as a guest, or if it's going to show your name with your RCSD K-12 account. So it does connect to that K-12 account. You do get some additional Zoom features with the desktop client. You can start your meetings from the desktop, and it is a more stable platform. So we have some information on that. If you have that slides deck, you can just click on this link on the top here. That'll take you to one of our RCSD Learns pages, and you have all the instructions and things here about downloading and updating Zoom. You can check if it's already downloaded for your account, and the whole process you go through is laid out in a nice document for you here. So that link will take you right to that page, and it also has the different things that you have to go through, and there are some videos available also. One major thing I want to say, when you do download that Zoom desktop client, you're going to get to a page where you sign in. It's crucial that you click on sign in with SSO. All right, that's the way we want you to sign in when you download that desktop client. That's going to link it all together. It's going to ask you for a domain. You just put in the RCSD K-12. It'll take you to the Rock Connect to authenticate it, and then you'll be signed in. So if you haven't done so already, it will have a little bit of a different appearing screen when you're using the desktop client. So there's a little image there for you. And we do have a quick video we're going to go through here, just showing that process. Whoops. A little crazy with my slides here. I'm just going to play that video. Why I can't get my thing to shrink here.
To make sure that you have the most up-to-date Zoom desktop app, we're going to go ahead and hop onto Rock Connect. I'm going to scroll down and click on my Zoom application. So come over to the right, click on Download Zoom Client. I'm going to go ahead and click Download, and we'll let Zoom download the exe here. When it's done downloading, I'm going to go ahead and open it. I want to click Sign In, and I want to go to Sign In with SSO. It's going to ask me my company domain. I'm going to type in RCSDK12, and I hit Continue. It said Open Zoom. All right, so this is what your desktop client's going to look like.
So that's just the process you go through. If you have not done that already, you want to make sure you download that desktop client. An easy way to check on your PC, if you shrink all your windows down for Chrome and stuff, see if you have a Zoom icon on your desktop. So if you see that on your desktop, you have that desktop client downloaded already.
And I would also add, because someone had a question, does each district desktop have Zoom already loaded? And so as Brian said, you could check that way. You could also see on the left bottom, it says search the web and Windows. You could search for Zoom that way to see if that shows up. Now, again, just because you have the desktop app does not mean you're logged into it. So as Brian pointed out, do go through signing in with the SSO also to log in, and that will also help with authentication and everything else. Sorry, I jumped in, but it was like a perfect time.
No, you're fine. And that does help. A lot of teachers have come to office hours and things saying when I try to join my co-teacher's meeting, I click their link, but it's not putting them in. If you have the desktop client downloaded, you will be able to just click links and get right into the meetings. So the next slide here, we just have a few Zoom settings for simultaneous instruction, going through the audio and video, make sure you log in, or how to log into Zoom on multiple devices, which she went through in Elena's video. You can use dual monitors, and some classrooms are going to use extended desktops. As I said, when you have the all-in-one that you're using and just that HD TV, we're going to recommend not extending your desktop because you want to show what you're writing on the all-in-one up on the television. So you want those duplicated there. And then the last thing, authenticated users. A lot of people I know have already done this. You want to turn on authentication to make sure that only RCSD students and staff can join your Zoom meetings. And again, on this slide, if you click on the top, there is a link there. And it's again going to take you to an RCSD Learns page specifically about Zoom. So different things about the audio. One thing with audio, I know I've had teachers say that it's really loud, their students tell them. You can go in here and adjust your microphone volume. So then when you're talking, if it's too loud for the students, you can turn that down a little bit. Go back to our presentation here. Any other specific questions on Zoom or anything in that area for now?
Yes, let me see here. So it's the question is, why can't you just continue to use your laptop for Zoom? Why is it necessary to use the desktop for Zoom? Or is it necessary to use desktop for Zoom?
So the main thing is if you're going to be writing on the stuff, like if I have a smart notebook file and I want to write on that and have it displayed for the class and for the kids at Zoom, my laptop, I can't just write on the screen unless I've practiced using my mouse and stuff like that. But yeah, it's specifically, I think, if you want to be able to write, the all-in-one has an interactive screen. So you can write right on that screen. If you don't have to interact with the presentation you're using, you could just display it right from your laptop. That's fine.
And then does the Zoom desktop client allow me to use the current Zoom classroom links?
Yeah, your links won't change for the meetings you already have set up. When you download the desktop client, you will see all those same meetings scheduled right in your Zoom.
And then the last question is more towards instruction. The question is, I would like to have students log into Zoom on their Chromebooks like they do at home in case the whiteboard doesn't work. That way everybody will together be at one time. Can you please demonstrate? Or do you even recommend that?
So if you wanted your face-to-face students into your Zoom, just like the remote students, I'm assuming you would post your Zoom link in Google Classroom. The students right in front of you can just go on their Chromebook and go to Google Classroom and click on that same link. One caution is if you've got a lot of students in class, I would make sure they're going to mute themselves because you may get some feedback and stuff when other people are talking.
And not even muting, Brian, but you have to make sure that the kids don't even connect with audio, because when I made my video, we tried muting and it was, there was a lot of feedback. So being thoughtful of that. And then the other thing I would say is also be thoughtful about internet. We do have internet at school. However, when you have students, it uses a lot of bandwidth when you have students on Zoom. So think about that. If you have 4 or 5 students in class and they're getting on Zoom, it might be very lagging. And so that might not be the best use of the time for that, however long, 45 minutes, 50 minutes of class for the students in class to get on Zoom. You could try it though and let us know how that goes. I think we're good for the questions so far.
And then just one note I wanted to make, if you want to display your webcam view in Zoom, if you had an external webcam, you would just click that little arrow, I keep getting the toolbar there, down by your video display. And if your webcam is hooked up, you can have it select the webcam, and that's what would show through your Zoom.
Oh, actually, now that you brought up webcam, there is a question. I didn't know where to put it, but this works. The question is, if they were to get a webcam or they have a webcam, where should they place it? Where do you think would be the best place to put it?
It really depends on how the room is set up. I know the HD TVs are mounted a little higher than the smart boards were, but on the smart boards, we were just mounting them right on the top. I would just kind of find a spot in your room, hook it up, and then see how it looks. So you can just have it mounted. I would Velcro it even to the wall next to the TV if you want. But you're gonna have to, yeah, just kind of play with it with your room to see if you're getting the view of all the students or what you actually want to show from the webcam.
And then one more just popped up. What is SSO?
That's our single sign-ons that we have. So when you use the single sign-on, it's going to connect with your proper rcsdk12.org account.
All right, we're good.
So the next slide, we just want to talk a little bit about device hygiene. All right, as students are coming back for face-to-face instruction and we have devices in our classroom, we just want to make sure we keep things cleaned. So hand hygiene is the best protection for students using technology devices. All right, so you want to have them sanitized before and after using shared technology devices. It is okay to have students come up and use a device. You just want to make sure that they sanitize before they do so and after they do so. Reapplying the hand sanitizer before using shared device if they touch their eyes, their nose, or their mouth, or anything like that. We kind of want to limit the cleaning of the actual devices, all right? You don't want to really clean the devices more than once a day. So by having the students clean their hands before and after, it helps us keep that cut down. Use an individualized device to interact with the technology, all right, when it's possible. If you're going to have kids using smartboard pens or things like that, again, sanitize before and sanitize after. And we want to try to limit the number of students that are interacting with the technology when possible. So I don't want to have every single kid coming up to the board. There's going to be a lot of people cleaning their hands. Specific cleaning for the technology devices, we want to use these Lysol wipes, all right? The Lysol wipes are specifically for cleaning technology. Other cleaners are supplied to clean the desktops, doorknobs, things like that in the room. But when it comes to technology, do not use that blue cleaner that they're putting in classrooms. You only want to use those Lysol wipes. So it's specifically those yellow Lysol wipes that you see pictured there. They will be available at buildings. Shipments have gone out. So you want to check with your building if you need more. You want to wipe down all shared devices at the end of the day, and then using a 2-minute wait time. So wipe it, let it sit there damp for 2 minutes about, and then you can wipe off the excess. And again, I want to state, do not use the blue disinfectant spray on devices. That can be damaging to the Chromebooks or iPads or the smart boards and TVs. Do not put hand sanitizer or any other liquid directly on the devices. So students are using hand sanitizer, but we got to make sure we don't wipe the device with those. And all building administration will have information on that if you have other questions, or you can reach out to the health and safety department. So we just wanted to point out again as a reminder, some of the technology resources that you still have available that have been there all along. First one is our RCSD Learns page. So if you have that slide deck available for reference later, you can just click on this image. And again, it's going to take you to RCSD Learns. If you go up to the staff drop down here, you'll see all the different categories we have. and you can look for what your particular need is and try to get your answers from there. If you can't find it, again, feel free to reach out to any of us TOAs and we'll try to help you. And we also have our web resources in e-learning. So again, you can just click on that image. And here we have a doc showing the available web resources for our CSD. And down below, you can get more detailed information about each individual web app you're looking about. So that document is available to all. And then just some additional resources available. There is a request form if you want to request a webcam or wireless mic through the help desk. So on that last page, we've linked it here, and this went out to staff. If you want maybe a microphone that you can use, go to the help desk through Rock Connect. You're just going to click on that icon. You want to scroll down to where it says request a device. All right, and then you can choose a webcam or the microphone. If you need both of those, you're going to have to put in 2 tickets. And then just fill out the information with your school, your room number. If your school doesn't pop up when you hit the drop down, you can just start typing it into there, and then it'll show your school and you can create that ticket. And again, TOAs are available daily for online support. You just want to go to that IT office hours document that we have. Scroll down. And we just break it up, what times we're available throughout the day. We do have special sessions listed, and you can go to some pre-recorded tutorials to find videos and things if you need help on a specific web app or topic. Hopefully you don't hear my kids fighting in the background right now. So again, our CSD Learns is also on this page. And then you can see this presentation and the videos and resources on that bottom link. Any other questions that we could answer at this point?
Yep. So just a quick comment first in terms of the webcams and mics. Be mindful. The webcams are great for teachers in the schools that don't have all-in-one computers. The teachers that only have laptops. So for all of us in this situation, if your classroom has all-in-one computers, you might not need a webcam. However, the mic is a great tool. Now, what you need to understand with the mic, and we will have directions on how to use the mic, maybe even, a video or maybe even some sessions for PDs, depending on what the teachers need. But the mics are not, they're not an amplification system. So if your school has an amplification system where you have mics already in the classroom that project through speakers, you will not want to order a mic because these mics are for schools and rooms that don't have that. Also, when you're using the mic, it will not amplify your voice. So your voice is not going to sound louder in class for the physical students to hear. But what it will do, it will make it loud and clear for the students in Zoom to hear. So that's just something to think about when you're ordering these resources. There was a question, and let me see where it is. The question is about instruction, and it is it possible to have a Pear Deck on your laptop, Zoom on desktop, an actual lesson on HD TV? And if you want, I could kind of answer it. And then maybe you could add to it, Brian. So in terms of Pear Deck is a virtual tool. So what's nice is you don't have to download anything. So if you are logged in to your Chrome browser, it does not matter where you're located. You can be on your laptop, you can be on your all-in-one. You will have all your applications, all your extensions, everything will be the same no matter where you log in, which is kind of neat. So you might need to set that up the first time and log into Chrome browser on your computer or AllinOne. So then you have all of those. So if you have Pear Deck on your laptop, you will have Pear Deck. When you go to your Google Drive, you'll have Pear Deck on your AllinOne as well. So you don't have to do anything extra. So in terms of the workflow, kind of like we saw in the video, you would want to, because you have the all-in-one that's hooked up to the TV, you would want to present the Pear Deck right from the all-in-one, put it up on the HD TV and make it like a dual screen, share that through Zoom. So you will have to be on Zoom on your all-in-one, but you can still be on Zoom on your laptop if you want to have that, again, like in the video, have the two screens, right? Where you have the presentation in one and the more of a Zoom features, seeing the students and the chat on the Chromebook or on the laptop itself. But you can definitely do that. And again, when you get into the classroom, if you want to play around with it and you want one of us to come help, just reach out to our office hours or email us, Brian, myself, or others, and we can definitely come in and try it out. We can be on the other end and be your Zoomers, on Zoom while you're playing around in your classroom. So anything that you need from our support, we can definitely help you out. But it's absolutely just like I use the Smart Notebook. You can definitely use the Pear Deck add-on with your all-in-one and your HD TV. And that way students in class will be able to utilize Pear Deck because they will get the link in Google Classroom, for instance. And then the students in Zoom at home will also be interacting in that same Pear Deck. So great idea. Let me see if there's any other questions. I think we answered the question about ordering the webcam and microphones. We want to reiterate that because this is really for phase 3, where, we have all secondary teachers, you probably will not get a mic before teachers from phase 2 will get it. That does not mean it's not going to be coming. So definitely order the things that you want. They're going through the orders right now, making sure that they're getting the right equipment to people. But do know we are in a pandemic, so if things need to be ordered and bought, sometimes it takes a little bit of time. In terms of, there's another question about Elmos and document cameras. Are we able to request them? So this says nothing new, but the Instructional Technology Department does not deal with document cameras or Elmos. This has always been a building thing. So, and Brian, you could add to that, but from my understanding, you would have to ask your building administrator for that resource.
Yeah, I would touch base with the building admin, see if there's some available now. I know some rooms had them and teachers didn't use them. So you may be able to get one that somebody doesn't use or have the school order one for you. And just that one question before, if you are interested in displaying something different on the all-in-one than the TV, that is the time when you would have to go in and extend that screen and not have it on duplicate if you wanted 2 different images being shown. But just keep in mind that if you're writing on the all-in-one, you need to have it duplicate so it shows on the television.
And it looks like we're done with questions. We've answered every question, which is really exciting. And again, if you have more questions, please post them here. And we could always, especially if you leave your name when you fill out the form, we can definitely go back and answer that specific question to you. We'll email you with the response that we have.
And I was notified that the survey for attendance link is now live. So you'll want to go back to that. So I can show it on the screen here real quick. The RCSD Learns page. I've got too many of them open here. So right where you got to that page in RCSD Learns to join the session. And again, remember to go down to the one that says all-in-one touchscreen and the survey for attendance link. You can click on there and complete that to get marked for your attendance. All right, so if you're all set, no more questions, you are good to go. Just remember to complete that attendance survey.